Okay, let's take a closer look at what the holiday of Eid-Al-Fitr means for businesses serving a Muslim market. Joining us is Yvonne Maffei, an entrepreneur, global halal subject matter expert, and runs myhalalkitchen.com. Yvonne, thanks for joining us. I certainly don't want to take time away from the celebration with family and friends, so we won't keep you too long. First, tell us about businesses and shops and the market for Eid-Al-Fitr as a specific holiday. What does it mean?
Well, for markets and shops, this is an incredible time for business to thrive. As long as they're really paying attention to the halal consumer, I think that they've really, got their mark on what consumers want, which are food, gifts, lots of consumables, textiles, things like that. So it's a golden opportunity this month of Ramadan and Eid-Al-Fitr.
You know, I lived in a Muslim nation for a year, and to see the Eid holiday and then come to an end, how much does the average business spend on marketing for Ramadan and Eid-Al-Fitr, and really kind of explain what it means, because it's difficult to go the entire day fasting and then, of course, eat before the sun comes up or after it goes down.
Mm-hmm. Well, it really depends on which economy we're talking about, of course, whether it's a Muslim country or not, and how much they're paying attention to that, again, the Muslim consumer during this time. But, it's kind of funny because it's a month of fasting, right? You would think that the consumption of food would go down, but it actually increases. And Muslim families tend to spend so much more, between 50 and 100% more during Ramadan on food than any other time of the year. So anybody who's in, restaurant business, hotels where they can serve buffets, food products, really can double their profits in the month of Ramadan. So I think that's something that's catching on around the world, even in non-Muslim countries who are seeing this $2.3 trillion growth of the halal economy, the global halal economy, as an opportunity.
Well, why is it? I'm kind of walk us through why people spend so much more, why businesses spend so much more buying food, and of course the customers spend. As you said, you would think it would be just the opposite. Why is it not?
You would think. Well, because Ramadan is a very communal time, right? It's not just a religious holiday. It's also it's a social experience, and so people tend to want to be together with families. I lived in Turkey for some time, and it's very different than celebrating an iftar or breaking of the fast in America or Canada, where in the streets in Muslim countries, you find people sitting outside, block by block. They'll have neighborhood parties. People really want to get together and be very communal because the schedule is the same in Muslim countries, right? But when we're talking about countries that are not particularly Muslim, everybody's on the Western schedule. So it's a time for community, but you will have people being very generous as well. So donations go up, and that donation factor is really about the food, right? So people are spending more in the way of charity, in the way of food, and so again, your spending goes up. So anybody in the food sector is really doing very well during Ramadan.
Yvonne, here's a question I'm sure that you would love to answer. What are some of the things about fasting during Ramadan that many people get wrong throughout the world?
Well, one of the things I think people get wrong is that Muslims aren't so productive during Ramadan, which is actually not true. I think there's a less focus on cooking and more focus on getting work done, saving your energy, more time, being introspective religiously. And so this notion that because we're not eating, we're not productive is actually not true. In fact, businesses tend to be more productive. People tend to be more focused at this time. So that's a really interesting thing that I think most people don't understand about Muslims at this time.
What is the impact of the pandemic and inflation on economic conditions done to celebration plans, especially considering how important it is for family and friends to get together?
Well, I think, this is probably one of the first Ramadans and Eid-Al-Fitrs that we've had post-COVID, where people feel a lot more comfortable being in places, even though we know there's still risk of being sick and all of that. But I think people have been so ready to be together, post-COVID. But the success of that also depends on economies. I mean, certain economies are experiencing more inflation, Turkey, Pakistan, places like that, whereas we're stabilizing more here in the U.S. and Canada. So I think it really just depends. But I think the world over, people are just really, really ready to be more communal.
Yvonne, we don't have a lot of time left, but tell us how important it is for businesses to have a website or e-commerce capabilities during Ramadan.
Oh, hugely important. I think, first of all, even if a company or product doesn't think that they could be a halal product, they should really look into that, because there's lots of ways, and it's easier and easier to figure that out and be certified. But also, I myself experienced on myhalalkitchen.com about 40% more traffic just in ads and ad revenue, because more and more people are looking for recipes and food ideas. And so anybody with an online platform really should boost up their ads and pay attention and put those ads out that say Ramadan Mubarak, Happy Ramadan, Eid Mubarak, things like that. Pay attention to the halal consumer, and they truly do reward you with their loyalty and their business.
Well, let me be the latest to wish you Eid Mubarak, and I'll let you get back with your friends and family.
Thank you so
Yvonne
much.
Maffei, thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.